menstrual cycle. In some instances, irregular cycles, 2 months, 3 months would pass and they would not get a cycle. And then you have instances where they may have issues associated with very heavy bleeding, a lot of clots, excruciating pain during the menstrual cycle before, during, and even after. So we're going to continue that discussion. One of the things that we highlighted last program, is the importance of parents really asking questions where their young girls are concerned. Because, a lot of these young women now starting to see their menstrual cycle, ages 9, sometimes 10, 11. And with that, from the onset, they have issues where the period is very painful. They may have some irregularity. But a lot of times, parents don't really pick up those things, or they pick it up. And, they brush it off. They think it is something that is normal. So, I just want to highlight to individuals that that is not normal. It is an indication of serious hormonal imbalance that if it is not dealt with in the early or in the infancy of its stages, it can later on lead to things like polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, endometriosis, adenomyosis. And then you have women that are faced with a not too likely solution, which is surgery. In some cases, even hysterectomy. I've known of instances with females 12 years that they have done a hysterectomy. A hysterectomy is the surgical removal of the uterus. If you do a total hysterectomy, it would be surgical removal of the uterus and the ovaries. If you do partial removal, it is going to be just the uterus and the ovaries remain. But of course, you have a whole host of issues associated with those procedures, especially going forward. I mean, one, the chance of procreating is non-existent. You can no longer make children if that happens to you. But that isn't even the worst thing. The worst thing is that your health is significantly compromised after that. Because when you remove those organs, one of the purpose of the uterus is not only for procreating, but it is actually serves a significant role as it relates to your cardiovascular system, because it can actually cause serious problems with the circulation below the heart. You have two types of circulation primarily in the body. Pulmonary circulation is above the heart, and systemic circulation is below your heart. So we're looking primarily at circulation in the extremities, the legs, and that type of thing. And when women do things like myomectomies, embolization. Embolization is when you actually cut the blood vessels that lead to fibroids, and myomectomy is when you surgically remove the fibroids. So the thing is, in cases like that, you still have issues with scar tissue, adhesions, and a whole host of issues that could cause or could come about as a result of doing that. So, of course, the question is, what is the solution? If there is at all a solution, and what even causes it? Now, one of the things a lot of persons do not like to admit, especially West Indian people who in the Caribbean, is that our diet is not the best diet that we have. A lot of persons, figure, our diet is laden with simple carbohydrates. We use too much sugar, so the soft drinks, and then of course you have the meats, the chicken especially, because of the hormones that they use, it significantly affects individuals. So, a lot of persons try to shy away from the truth when persons ask, well, what really causes polycystic ovaries, what causes fibroids, what causes ovarian cysts. Some doctors tell you they don't know. So I'm here to tell you, it's not that we don't know, we know. The problem is persons need to make better choices, lifestyle, exercise or lack of exercise. Dehydration plays a significant role. Women, for some reason, do not like water. For what reason, I don't know. But they're not alone, because they have some men in that nonsense. I understand with women, they tend to be a little careful because the washroom is not a solution that is readily available. If you know what I mean. As a male, if you're on the highway and, trouble takes you, you can pull aside and you do something. A female can really do that. So, a lot of women tend to be a little more conservative with the water because of that. And I understand that, but what you need to do is really play catch-up, like later on in the day and that type of thing. And I've always given persons, the information as regards to how much water you should drink, which is your body weight divided by 2 ounces. So there's actually a formula for drinking water. So if someone weighs 300 pounds, it is quite obvious that someone weighing 180 pounds would have to require less water than someone who weighs 300 pounds. So the rule really is for individuals to take your body weight. So let's say we are 160, half of 160 is 80. It would mean that your basic water requirement or your requirement for proper hydration should be at least about that's what 80 ounces, which is about 2.5 liters of water per day minimum. So ask yourself the question. You can actually do the maths now or maybe later on, and ask yourself if you really consume adequate water. Because a lot of people say, I drink a lot of water. But when they really look at it from that perspective, they realize that they are severely dehydrated. And that is also a contributing factor to what we're discussing here. Okay, so keep in mind our telephone numbers and locations. We are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That's our head office. That's Money Talks building in Montrose, Chaguanas. We also on the corner of Ramsey Woods Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Dede. We also in Red Edge Mall. Red Edge Mall is Western Main Road, St. James. And we're in Tobago as well. Tobago is the Triangle building in Scarborough, Tobago. The numbers you can call, you can give us a call on 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That is 314-9975. And keep in mind that 314-9975 number is our WhatsApp contact. So if you maybe want to send a detailed message to us, some information you want to request, then it would be better for you to send it to the 314-9975 number. Okay? Keep in mind as well too, our social media platforms. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates PT. On Facebook, we are Batson and Associates Limited. And on YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. And any of the lives that I would have done, we have all those lives there, so you can always go on and listen, because we deal with different issues, diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease. So you could go through there and get the necessary information you may need to contact us. Okay, good. Yeah, we could start. Yes. Definitely. As I was saying before, the thing is, if you look at, how to put it, if you look at the anatomy of fibroids, to begin with, you have 5 types of fibroids. You have intramural fibroids, which are the ones in the wall. Then you have subserosal, you have submucosal, and then there are 2 other ones. So fibroids are basically given their names based on their location. Intramural are the worst type of fibroids because those actually in the lining, in the walls themselves, and those are the ones that are usually the most painful, causes the most amount of problems. Women who would have severe bleeding situations where they bleed so much that they become anemic, which is their blood count becomes very low, are usually women with intramural fibroids. Now, polycystic ovarian syndrome is closely linked to hormonal imbalance. Now, in both cases, you have an issue with hormonal imbalance. What natural and integrative medicine has taught us is, the objective is always to deal with the root cause of the problem and not necessarily the symptomology. So fibroids and polycystic ovarian syndrome is really a symptomology of a greater problem. What is the problem? Fundamentally, the problem lies in the gastrointestinal system. So you have 11 organ systems in your body. You have the gastrointestinal system, endocrine, reproductive, integumentary, and the list goes on, right? So these different organ systems is what comprises the body. Now, an individual who has fibroids or polycystic ovarian syndrome, the problem usually 99.9% of the time originates in the gut. Because if you, based on anatomy and physiology, your colon is behind your uterus. There's a very thin wall that basically separates them. Women who have problems with acid reflux, constipation especially, you usually find women who have situations with polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, endometriosis, they usually have gastrointestinal imbalance. And as a result of that, that causes endocrine problems. The endocrine system is primarily a glands. So that's thyroid, parathyroid, pituitary. And remember, glands produce hormones. So with fibroids and polycystic ovarian syndrome, you have an issue with excess estrogen and imbalance in progesterone, gonadotropin, and different hormones that women need. So with that imbalance now, so gastrointestinal, endocrine, hormonal fibroids, polycystic ovaries, or polycystic ovary fibroids, whatever the case may be. So in all those instances, you have to always address the root cause of the problem, which is the gastrointestinal system. That's very, very important. Diet, as I said, plays a significant role. There are certain foods that are very inflammatory. Sugar is poison. If you don't know that, you know that now. Sugar is it is worse than saturated fats. Saturated fats are bad, but sugar it's really devastating simply because sugar increases inflammatory response. What is inflammatory response or inflammation? That is a condition where the body has high amounts of stress hormones, so high cortisol and those type of things. So when you have a high inflammatory response or inflammation, it creates an environment that is conducive to disease, polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts. So your diet, your lifestyle, lack of exercise to a sedentary lifestyle also significantly contributes to that, because lack of exercise, again, increases your risk of developing things like polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, because exercise is actually anti-inflammatory or helps to reduce inflammatory response in the body. Okay? Okay, well, there are a number of supplements that we carry. I mean, at Batson and Associates, our specialization is integrative medicine. Now, integrative medicine, as I said, is medicine that actually addresses the root cause of the problem. I use a simple analogy. Imagine you have stagnant water somewhere in your yard. So you have some flower pot or something that collecting water. Eventually, you're going to get some mosquitoes, right? Now, the thing is, if you go and buy, let's say, flitter, spray, cockset, whatever the case may be, you will only get rid of mosquitoes for a specific period of time. So if you do that Monday you mightn't have, but Tuesday you'll get, and Wednesday and so on. So the issue, the mosquitoes are a symptomology. The mosquito is not the problem. The problem is the stagnant water. Once you remove that situation, the environment is no longer conducive for the breeding of mosquitoes. And even diagnostic, I tell persons, and people get confused when I say this, a lot of times your diagnosis is not important to us or to me especially, because it's like, again, with the analogy with the mosquito, it's like someone going to now analyze each mosquito and determine if it's an Aedes aegypti or whatever. No, that's not important. What we need to get rid of is the environment or the problem that is actually contributing to the mosquitoes being there in the first place. All right, so I think that's the simplest way I could put it across. Mm. Okay. Now, let me say something. There are a few products that we carry at Batson Associates that address polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, those type of things. There's a product that we use called Women's Formula, and there's also one called Female Balance. And those products are primarily designed to balance your endocrine system, which is basically the master system as regards to the glands. So thyroid, parathyroid. Your pituitary gland is really a master gland. A lot of people, that really controls everybody else. So you would get help in that area. As it relates to the gastrointestinal problem, then we're looking at something like there's a product we use called Santulan. Santulan actually is balanced in Hindi. So what it does is a 7-channel detox. So it cleans kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. So it's not a purge, it is a detox, and there's a significant difference. Purges I do not recommend that. Those things are very aggressive on the intestinal wall, and they can lead to serious problems. When we're speaking about a detox, we're talking about something different. The only challenge that some women would have is that if you have low blood count, you should not use Santulan, or you cannot use Santulan in the initial aspect of the protocol. What we're going to have to do is build up your blood count, and then subsequent to that, maybe a month, 6 weeks or 8 weeks after, then we would introduce the Santulan. Simply because the liver is also a major contributor to things like polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, because your liver is one of the major organs of detoxification. Your skin is the largest organ of detoxification and usually removes the most amount of waste, because the most amount of toxins are removed from your body via what? Perspiration or sweat. Good. So you find with women who have this situation, a lot of the times their liver is slightly compromised in the sense that it is not detoxifying at the level that it should. So hence we usually recommend the Santulan. So there's also a product that we carry called Cysts and Fibroid Formula. That product is actually designed specifically for shrinking of fibroids and the shrinking or removal of cysts, because it actually helps in reducing the inflammatory response. So there are a number of products that we carry. There's a tea that we have for women as well. I'm a huge advocate of tea. No milk, no sugar, please. Once you put milk and sugar in a tea again, it's rubbish. Right? You have to drink teas like the Chinese. No. Yeah. 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 But they go and play pitch. You're wasting time with that. Don't do that. And of course, women who have polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, and those type of problems, you should not consume cold water. Your water should always be at room temperature, simply because cold water exacerbates health conditions. It creates a lot of inflammation in the body, especially the intestines, especially the womb. So that is something that you should stay away from. Okay? Definitely. They can. And I have seen it with numerous clients of mine, especially with polycystic ovaries. The problem with fibroids, a lot of times, if you have fibroids, depending on the location and the size of the fibroids, you may end up having a miscarriage. Usually, women with fibroids do not carry to term. Usually, if they have large fibroids. If you have like pretty small ones, like maybe 2 centimeters in diameter, like maybe that's about like maybe marble size, pea size, those type of things, you can carry to term. So yes, but again, it depends on the size and the location of the fibroid. You can. All right, good. No, no, it would definitely melt with without surgery. The thing is, as a consultant in integrated medicine, I tell people any doctor that is worth the weight in gold know that surgery should always be the last resort. Unfortunately, our doctors in Trinidad, some of them don't think so. They want to cut you for every living thing. And a lot of times you need to weigh and examine that because in their minds, there are parts that you could live without. So, okay, so let's go with that argument. That's like a vehicle. Could you drive a vehicle with 3 wheels? You can. No, you can't. No. The car would move. But it depends on the drive that you will get. That's like driving without a windscreen. You could drive. But if rain start to fall, what's going to happen to you? So what you have to understand, the quality of life that you would have subsequent to the surgery is what you need to take into consideration. So a lot of the times, surgery, especially in the womb area, because what you have to understand, your body has different types of tissue in different parts of the body, right? So the tissue, for example, in your cheeks, as opposed to the tissue in your abdomen or the tissue in your thigh, that type of thing. You have different type of tissue in terms of whether muscles are present, that type of thing. Women in your womb area, that tissue is a very funny type of tissue because it a lot of times it doesn't heal well. So you are open up to what is known as scar tissue and what is known as adhesion. So if you go and do research, you would realize that it's like people who have what they say you have bad flesh. So a lot of people when they get cut, they get something called keloids, right? So imagine that on the inside of the womb. A lot of women, when you do, as I said, embolization, you do myomectomies, a lot of times the fibroid is going to come back enough because the root cause of the problem was never addressed. Exactly. So you're spinning top in mud. How many times you're going to get cut? It's like cesareans. You remember a woman could only do 3 cesareans. And God forbid the female who does that, usually you never yourself again enough. Because that tissue doesn't heal properly. Because a lot of times the bed rest that women are recommended when they do cesarean, that bed rest is not enough. And then a lot of y'all, you have to run around, you have to deal with a child. You could really go and lie down for 2 months, 3 months. You can't do that. So a lot of times you get up and that tissue doesn't heal properly. And a lot of women, sometimes your belly, you remain with a belly for the rest of your life. And you do all sorts of things and it doesn't come down. And the reason for that is because of the tissue and how the tissue heals. So it's a very dangerous thing, and you always try to avoid surgery as much as possible. Lifestyle, I have seen with women, and then there are specific protocols that we would put in place because a lot of people do not know that there are substances out there from a nutritional perspective that actually get rid of fibroids. Yeah, it gets rid of scar tissue and those type of things. So that is the protocol that we usually put women on for a period of time. As I said, diet is very important. You have to give up chicken unless you have a farm home and you're doing yard fowl, as we call it. You're growing your own chicken and you do not have the hormones and antibiotics that they normally put in it. because those hormones have been scientifically proven to actually contribute to serious problems with hormonal women, problems, not only in women, or even men. Because young boys have, there's something known as gynecomastia, which is male breasts. Where you have a lot of young boys, their chests look like female breasts. And the reason for that is because of the excess estrogen that now gives them those types of characteristics. So it definitely does require a lifestyle change. Anyone who's telling you other than that, take what I mean. They don't know what they're talking about. You need to address that. Alcohol is something, you have to take it out of the diet. Things like the soft drink, the juices, those processed sugars, out of the diet. Your diet has to be much cleaner, more vegetables, more fruits, a lot of steamed foods. Your meats, you stay away from barbecue. But I tell people barbecue, if you eat a barbecue leg and that is equivalent to smoking about 20 packs a cigarette. Because you know, yeah, and that's something a lot of people do not know. Because what you introduce now is carcinogens. And carcinogens are what? Cancer-causing chemicals. So that's something that you need. You cannot get away from lifestyle and diet. You cannot. I mean, you could just say, well, okay, you don't care. Fine, if you don't care, well then, deal with the music, face the music afterwards, deal with your consequences. But if you're really looking objectively, I have dealt with women with infertility, and I've gotten some very good results. I mean, I've been in practice for the past 12 years. I've helped on record 175 women who could not have children prior to coming to us. Right? So we have some good statistics, but the issue a lot of the times with those women, I have to change their diet. And something a lot of women have to pay attention to quickly, let me say, is based on the anatomy as it relates to your alignment. A lot of women have serious alignment problems. What is alignment? Okay, you know it is normally carry your vehicles aligned. Because there are certain points in time when you're driving a vehicle, you're going to have to send it to be realigned or aligned. The reason for that is because the vehicle is going to start up bend. So your wheel is going to either pull to the left or pull to the right. The human body, a lot of the times, goes out of alignment. And a lot of women who may be trying to get pregnant, if your womb is not in proper alignment, you cannot get pregnant. You could go all the fertility clinic all over the world, I'm telling you, you're wasting your money. Because the womb has to be in a particular area of alignment in order for success as it relates to pregnancy. Very, very important. Okay, so if you know you have a problem with a lot of back pain, a lot of hip pain, there are some women, sometimes you fell and you didn't really pay attention to it. You may have been in a vehicular accident or something like that, and that situation needs to be corrected. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. The thing is that Batson and Associates, people call me the tea doctor because I love tea. I'm a huge advocate of tea. So there's a tea that we actually carry called cholesterol tea. That's going to help you. Santulan, which is the 7-channel detox, that's going to help you along with the alkagen water. From a home perspective, one of the things I would suggest as well, there's a seed called Chia Seeds, which I'm sure everybody know about by now. So what you do, you get some chia seeds, you take a tablespoon of chia, you put it in a glass of water, and you do it in the night. You leave the chia there for like about 8 hours, and then you drink the glass of water with the chia in the morning time. I usually put mine in smoothies, so I would get like sea moss, I would use oats, I would use some chia seeds, some flax, and I would do a smoothie where I'd add like maybe banana or pawpaw, that kind of thing. Please, no milk, no sugar. And once you start to do that, you're going to realize the cholesterol is going to start to lower. Oats also works for cholesterol, but you have to keep in mind when you use oats, you do not boil the oats. You have to heat the water and throw the water on the oats. You do not boil oats. Because what you do when you boil the oats, it becomes too soft and it actually could stick on the inside of the intestine. You want the oats to be rough enough that is going to create that roughage. Yeah, that is going to actually help to clean the wall of the colon one and help to lower the cholesterol in the bloodstream. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. You're pregnant with one ovary. The thing is, what you have to understand, a lot of times, the doctors or surgeons will always be as responsible as they're supposed to, most of the time, right? So a lot of times when doctors go in there, sometimes what you have is fusion. So most likely there was some sort of fusing as it relates to the uterus, and the surgeon would have had no choice in cutting that he would have had to remove the ovary. All right. So in a case like that, that is what most likely happens. So but you can get pregnant with one ovary. You can. All right. Mhm. Yeah, let me just highlight, because let me say a pleasant good morning to those persons on our Instagram, and on the Facebook. I'm not able, subsequent to when I finish with 103, I would run through some of your questions on Facebook there. Keep in mind our office telephone numbers, 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. And those locations: first floor Monitox Building, Montrose Chabonas. We're also on the corner of Ramsey Woods Trace and the SS Main Road in Davie, as well as Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James and Tobago is the Transit Building. Also keep in mind, we do have road delivery available, and that special that we have with our live nutritional blood cell analysis, dry blood analysis, the magnetic resonance analysis scan, and the executive consultation, that we still have that package running. So you could always call, get information on that. We are booked up a bit, but keep in mind, we do have consultants. I have Ms. Karishma Ramdan, who works with me a pleasant good morning to have Mr. Paul Green, Mr. Rene Bastamante, and the whole team at Batson Associates, that really there to help you to reach to the point that you want to reach. So, keep in mind, as I said, if you follow us on social media, it's going to make your life a lot easier. You have a lot of free information there. You're going to have access to a lot of our products, as it relates to prices, what the products do, that type of thing. And, you're able to share a lot of information, because we have a lot of information there with diabetes, hypertension, which is so prevalent now, cardiovascular disease, and, the list goes on and on. Yeah. All right. Any more questions? Okay, good. Answer that. He's how old? Usually there are problems with dizziness. There's a medical term known as vertigo. And vertigo is usually characterized by a lot of dizziness. Usually a doctor will give you semaglutide to use. The thing is, dizziness is usually an indication of a main issue, which is lack of blood flow to the brain. At the genesis of the conversation, I was saying that you have two types of circulation mainly. You have pulmonary circulation, which is above your heart, and systemic, which is below the heart. Most people have poor pulmonary circulation, and it's usually an indication where you're not getting sufficient blood in the brain or the cerebral hemisphere. So it would be an indication of poor circulation. The possibility exists you may have some pinching of the nerves in maybe the close to the carotid artery, that type of thing. And as a result of that, you're not getting sufficient blood and oxygen, so it can cause a problem with circulation. What I suggest, we carry a product by the name of Circulation Tea and IT, and those teas have in them something known as persimmon leaves, which is actually designed to clean the arteries and help in improving microcirculation, which is circulation in the spinal blood vessels. So that also helps in correcting the situation with dizziness. Sometimes you have problems with your eyesight and that type of thing. So it's always good to pay attention. And once you're experiencing that, then that is most likely the situation where you have a poor circulation to the brain. Okay? Definitely. Always a pleasure to be here. Let me just say, as we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. God bless you guys. And as usual, be safe and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. It was a pleasure. I didn't get your name though. Sorry? Sarika. Okay, Sarika, it was a pleasure. Nice meeting you. I did miss Karen a little bit. But it's nice. It's nice to see a new face. So you all could give me her back in 2-3 weeks. Okay, you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye bye. Okay, good. So, Instagram family, let me see if I could just answer some of your questions quickly. A pleasant good morning to Miss to Anointed Woman. She's asking, is it safe to drink water with some lemon in it for the day? Yes, actually very good. The benefits of rock skin lemon. anti-carcinogenic, a lot of different benefits as it relates to burning visceral fat in the body, that type of thing. But it's always recommended that you use it with warm water. If you use a rough skin lemon in room temperature water, you're wasting the lemon. Warm water, like maybe like if you're drinking like a cup of tea, you could actually put the lemon in it. But keep in mind, no milk, no sugar. Okay? One of the questions someone asked, the eye optics formula, that eye drop that helps with cataract, glaucoma, detached retina, and all those issues, we do not have in stock right now, but keep in mind, if you do call for the eye drop, you need to get the eye drop. Just let the office know, excuse me, your name and your telephone number, and we're going to basically address that for you. Okay, that's very important. So based on our time, it's quite unfortunate I cannot spend as much time with you guys as I would like. Let me quickly, Pat Mendez is asking the opening and closing hours in St. James. St. James is usually open Monday to Friday from 9 to 5. Usually on a Friday when I am in office, we tend to go a tad bit later, so we might go till about 6, 7 o'clock. And on a Saturday, it is usually from 10 to 4. Okay? And those numbers, again, you can call 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. As we always say at Batson Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Someone is saying you did not answer my question. That's Curly Nikki 21. Okay, so Curly Nikki, here what I'm going to have to do, because I really have to go and do something before I have a next program that I'm going to do at 12:15, and that's on another frequency. That's 106.5, which is Akashvani. So we will be able to address that. Okay, can I drink Santulant on my cycle? You can. You can. What I suggest you do is use like 1 8-ounce cup, and you could use it every other day. Okay? And you shouldn't have any problem. It will actually help to make the period less painful and that type of thing if you experience that. Okay, guys, so as I said, you could join me at 12:15. I will be on Akashvani 106.5 FM. That is with Ms. Kamala Ramdan. And of course, we'll be discussing health. Okay, so God bless you guys and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.